Hi, my name is Daniela Lubro, and today I am presenting my analysis of Southwest Airlines 2022 holiday meltdown. We will look at how their crisis communication and the public's response shaped the airline's identity during this crisis. During the 2022 holidays, Southwest canceled over 16,000 flights over a course of 9 days, straining passengers and damaging its reputation as a reliable, friendly airline. My focus is on how Southwest tried to manage its image and how audiences reacted, especially through social media. My research question is: how did Southwest Airlines use rhetorical appeals and messaging strategies to manage its public image during the 2022 holiday travel crisis? And how did audience on social media respond to those messages? I analyzed Southwest official tweets, statements, and apology, public replies on Twitter, and press releases. While I use SCCT to assess Southwest crisis strategies, I use the neo-rhetoric to study their appeals to credibility, emotion, and logic, and then Owen's analysis to identify patterns in both company messages and public responses. Southwest blended strategies between diminishing responsibilities, blaming it on weather, rebuilding trust through apologies, offering refunds, and promising upgrades. They also tried to bolster their image by referencing values like family and commitment. Rhetorically, they use ethos, credibility, pathos, empathy, and logos solutions. The public framed the crisis in a few different ways. Some of what that I saw, as you can see in the cluster, those were the words that appeared a great deal throughout those 9 days of communications on Twitter. And then if you look on my themes, there was a lot of anger and frustration, or anger and betrayal, distrust, emotional loss, appreciation for employees, call for systematic change, call for transparency, request for concrete action. They were saying things like, this is unacceptable, this is a nightmare, I miss Christmas. There was a lot of frustration around the missed holidays. There was a lot of sadness around or about ruined plans. However, throughout it, they praised the frontline workers despite the chaos. They weren't actually blaming the frontline workers for it because they knew it was a bigger issue than just them, which is why they called for systematic change. They were demanding for accountability and for reforms, and these themes were clear through Owen's criteria of forceful, repeated, and recurring messaging. Organizational communication theory helps us see what's really happening here. Southwest's identity wasn't defined by its leader's statement alone. It was co-constructed through public dialogue. The public didn't just react, they actively reframed the crisis as a systematic failure of leadership and preparedness, despite Southwest's efforts to shift blame to external factors. This reflects the social construction of organizing. Organizations are not fixed entities. They are ongoing, negotiated accomplishments created through communication, according to Berger and Luckman. Crisis like this reveals that communication is ideology, a struggle over competing narratives that shape an organization means in the public eye. For individuals, trust was damaged and expectations for corporate accountability rose. The crisis damaged trust in Southwest and heightened public sensitivity to corporate accountability, especially in emotionally charged moments like the holidays. For organizations, words aren't enough. Actions must match messaging. Real time, sincere engagement paired with visible and meaningful action is necessary to maintain legitimacy. For society, this case shows how platforms like Twitter transform crisis communications into dialogue. The public co-creates organizational identity in these moments, and social media turns crisis into a public dialogue where audiences shape the narrative in real time. This case study shows that crisis communication is about meaning making, not just message delivery. Identity is dynamic, co created by leaders and audience. Brands must align action and values, especially in high stake moments. This project helps us understand that crisis communication is about more than just choosing the right words, it's about participating in what defines organizational identity and legitimacy. And that social media amplifies collective meaning making. The public co creates the narratives. We don't just consume them. Southwest's case also reminds us that organizational identity is, as I said before, dynamic, it's a dialogue. It is shaped not just, like I said before, not just by the leaders, but by public responses, how they interpret it, how they reshape those messages. And then, as I said before, it's the real time aspect. It's the real time aspect that's important. Thank you for listening.